Be me. 26, work in marketing at a mid-sized firm, kind of known as the woke one in meetings. I always speak up about office boundaries, safe environments, not loud about it, but people know. I watch tons of YouTube debates. Love when some smug dude gets wrecked by a sharp woman. Makes me feel like we're finally pushing back. I subscribe to 3 channels that break down male microaggressions in real time. Once said, unlearning patriarchy is a full-time job in a lunch chat. Co-worker called me HR's favorite foot soldier. I laughed, but also kind of true. My best friend Aaron works in the same company. We joined around the same year, just different departments. He's in dev, I'm in marketing. We eat lunch together sometimes, talk life, podcasts, dumb memes. He's one of the only guys I fully trust. Never once made me uncomfortable. Never flirted, even when I was going through my hot mess phase. Everyone in the office says, he's the type you want your daughter to marry. He's 32, married, 2 little kids. Works IT. One of the harmless guys. Always offers to carry chairs at company events, opens doors, brings donuts. Quiet, never interrupts women when they talk. Calls me champ when I vent about stuff. At the holiday party last year, he spent 20 minutes fixing the karaoke mic for people. His wife came later, hugged him like he was her safe zone. They looked like real love, like stable. I remember thinking, she's lucky. He joked, nah, I'm just lucky she still laughs at my jokes. Everyone liked him. Like, everyone. Then things start shifting. Company introduces new HR policies. Diversity, equity, inclusion trainings every quarter. Anonymous complaints go straight to the internal team. CEO does a town hall on power imbalances, calls it a proactive culture reset. I nod the whole time, think, finally, real change. HR guy says, we want this to be a place where nobody feels unsafe. People start whispering about walking on eggshells. Some guys say, now we can't even joke anymore. I roll my eyes, think, maybe that's the point. Finally feels like someone's making space for the rest of us. Used to think men ruled the room, now they shrink a bit, and honestly, that feels like justice. A new hire joins. Her name's Talia, 27, sharp, sarcastic, slightly guarded. Comes from a startup that didn't take women seriously. Follows all the right accounts. Wears a still healing hoodie at her desk. We bond a little at first. She says, men only respect fear or consequences. I laugh. She once told me, we're not here to be liked, we're here to be unignorable. Something about how she says it makes me flinch. 3 weeks in, after work mixer, crowded hallway. Aaron is guiding a group through. Hand gently touches her shoulder for like 1 second. Not even weird. I see it. Looks like he's trying not to bump into her. She freezes, looks stunned, doesn't say anything. Next morning, whispers start. Someone says, Talia looked upset. Another says, he shouldn't have touched her at all. HR email goes out. Reminds us of the zero tolerance policy for physical contact. Here Talia, talking to someone near the kitchen, says, you don't have to slap someone to make them feel cornered. I think that's a bit much, but say nothing. Days later, group chat moment. Aaron makes a joke about caffeine addiction, says, you ever drink so much coffee you black out at your desk and wake up a better person? Someone laughs. Talia replies, I don't like being talked to like that. Group goes quiet. Aaron sends a thumbs up emoji. A few days earlier, he helped adjust her office chair. Said, your back will thank you later. She didn't reply. He thought she didn't hear him. Now I wonder if she was already noting it down. Once sent her a podcast clip. They'd talked about it in the break room before. Nothing weird, just a debate about burnout. She left it on scene, later called it uninvited messaging during HR review. I message him privately, say, maybe give her space. He replies, I don't even know what I did. I leave him on read. 1 week later, company-wide email. A team member has been placed on leave pending review of internal concerns. Doesn't say his name, but we all know. HR claimed to have reviewed security footage, said cameras cleared the hallway incident. Aaron later discovers that hallway wing camera was broken. He brought it up during HR review. They said footage was inconclusive, claimed overall behavior pattern was enough. Lawyer said fighting it would cost more than he had, so he just gave up. HR still used the claim in their report. Makes me think, did they rig the narrative before gathering facts? How many others are treated like evidence instead of people? Feels like the game was already decided. I'm all for making an example of men, but I don't think Aaron deserves it. Rumor said we'd been flagged in a regional diversity, equity, and inclusion audit. Apparently some lawsuit 2 years ago put our executives on edge. Someone higher up wanted a zero-tolerance showcase. Heard whispers that board pressure was building. One exec allegedly said, "We need this cleaned up before the Q4 report." HR didn't look for justice. They looked for optics. And Aaron was just easy to frame. Colleagues texting me, they know Aaron and I are tight, ask if I've heard anything. I say, let's wait for the facts. But in my head, I already assume he crossed a line. Then Talia posts on LinkedIn. It's terrifying to feel unsafe in your own workplace. Talks about subtle forms of disrespect. Calls it micro-boundary violations. Doesn't name names. Her tone always careful, like she practiced being vague enough to avoid lawsuits. Designed to isolate him. Felt like she lit a match and watched the office burn. Purpose wasn't justice. It's as if she wanted the scalation metric to hit at quarterly audit. He's one of the most talented staff in the office and was supposed to get a promotion soon. Maybe she was after him. I mean, men do these things all the time, don't they? Unless she was trying to take advantage of him doing something unacceptable as a man to get him fired. Nah, can't be. Right as I came to that conclusion, though. Ran into Talia near the vending machines one afternoon. She smiled, said, "Sometimes you have to take a few pawns off the board to win the game." Said, "He'll land somewhere eventually." Voice didn't sound cruel, just bored, like she was talking about printer ink. I asked, "Do you think he meant harm?" She blinked, said, "Intention doesn't matter. Results do." But says, "When someone makes a joke that makes your skin crawl, trust that feeling. Hashtag not so subtle. 300 likes in 3 hours. Co-workers start commenting hearts. Someone tags our company. It spreads fast. Our mutuals connect the dots." I go back to her post, read it twice, start to feel itchy. None of what she said is technically false, but none of it really happened. Not like that. But I still repost it. Say, we have to listen, even when it's uncomfortable. Reminds me of a time last year. Random girl posted about her old manager being creepy. Thread blew up. I didn't know the guy, but I replied, "Patterns always surface." Felt good, like I was part of something. But that guy messaged me, said, "I've never even worked with her." I blocked him. Now I wonder, did anyone check? Never mention Aaron. Just want to be on the right side. 2 days later, Aaron calls me. Voice sounds wrong. Says, "She tagged my wife's cousin in that post." Says, "I haven't seen my kids since Tuesday." I ask what happened. He says, "She packed bags and left." Told him, "Until this clears up." She didn't want their son hearing about it at school. He says, "There's nothing to clear up." He sounds like he's shaking. I say, "Maybe just lay low for now." He hangs up. He texted me later that night, said, "My son asked if I was in trouble." Said, "I told him no, but I think I lied." Next day, I saw I had a missed call from him. Voicemail just said, "Hey, just wanted to hear a kind voice." I never called back. Found her Instagram one night. Bio now says, "Single mama, healing, no time for liars." Latest story was a quote, "Gaslighters will act confused when confronted with truth." Couldn't tell if she believed him or needed not to. Either way, she was gone. And the world clapped. Investigation drags for weeks. HR interviews people. They ask weird questions. Have you ever seen Aaron make anyone uncomfortable? Rumor was, HR had already been burned by a lawsuit last year. Board demanded zero-tolerance follow-throughs. Someone said, "They're just waiting to fire the next guy." This wasn't about what Aaron did. It was about proving something to someone above their pay grade. Someone said he stood too close during a screen share. He was helping a junior dev debug something. Girl never filed a complaint, but they wrote it down anyway. Called it early sign of proximity discomfort. They stacked that onto everything else, turned every kindness into evidence. Did he ever comment on how someone looked? People start remembering random moments like, "He once said I had cool earrings," or "He gave me a hug when my dog died." It builds a pattern. They love that word. I ask HR if there's a chance he'll be cleared. They look at me like I just said a slur. Company lets him go quietly. No official email, just vanishes from Slack. No formal firing email, no company-wide clarity. But somehow, everyone knew. His calendar got wiped. Clients redirected. His bio disappeared from the team page overnight. Co-workers told new hires, "Don't ask about Aaron." His silence became the story, and silence always sounds guilty. A junior co-worker secretly wrote a letter defending Aaron, said he was always respectful, safe, the only one who mentored without flirting. One guy from Dev whispered, "This is messed up," at lunch. But when I asked if he'd say that to HR, he just shook his head, said, "I've got a mortgage and twins." Even the nice ones chose silence, but HR never read it aloud. File died in an inbox. A friend of his shared it verbatim to me later. Felt like a whisper drowned in the noise. Only then did I question, could there be some people blind to him? But just uninterested. Someone replaces his desk plant within 3 hours. LinkedIn says, "Open to work." No one likes the post. I don't message him, don't know what to say, don't want to risk it. Once, months before all this, Aaron fixed my laptop at 9 p.m. I'd panicked over a client deadline. He stayed till midnight, bought me Uber Eats, and said, "Marketing deserves tech support." He didn't log those hours, didn't ask for thanks, just smiled and said, "Champ's got this." That same laptop now flashes error messages, and there's no one left to call. Sometimes I open old emails, see his name next to green check marks. He fixed things I didn't even know were broken. Automated half my reports. Helped me debug a client mess I forgot to thank him for. His initials are still on files, but HR scrubbed him from the organization chart. Even the shared doc with our old deck says owner unknown now. Funny how quickly they erase you, like safety means pretending you never existed. Here through someone he tried applying to 5 places. Got ghosted by all of them. Someone at another firm says, "We don't want any potential public relations risk." His wife files for separation. Kids now live 2 cities over. He pays child support, lives in a studio near the freeway. I drive past it sometimes. Always think about texting, never do. He tried to sue the company, went the full route, wrongful termination, reputational damage, defamation. Lawyer said they had a shot, but discovery took forever. Company flooded them with documents, buried them in jargon. Every HR note framed him like a time bomb. They even pulled Slack logs from 2018, twisted banter into red flags. Months dragged on, legal fees stacked. His lawyer bailed, said, "We're up against an institution protecting its image." Last hearing lasted 11 minutes. Judge said, "We're not here to litigate workplace culture." Case dismissed. He just sat outside the courthouse, watched people go in and out, like none of it mattered. Lawyer bills started arriving. Savings evaporated within weeks. He joked he'd become a Netflix widower. Credit card statements quadrupled. Once refunded a co-worker lunch, said, "Feel better soon." Now he's embarrassed to call people. Home service repossessing landscaper says, "Maybe you need to scale back." He tries. Mortgage default notice lands on my desk from mail pile I picked up. I feel his life spiral without lifting a finger. His son's school removed him from the pickup list. Says, "Only custodial parent can authorize changes now." He found out when he tried to surprise him with lunch. They wouldn't let him in. Security guard apologized, said, "We're just following protocol." He sat in the parking lot for an hour, called me, said, "They treat me like I'm radioactive." Said, "My son was 4 pounds at birth. I used to feed him with a syringe." Said, "Now I'm a danger because I adjusted someone's chair?" I didn't know what to say. He hung up quietly. Later texted, "I don't think I exist anymore, legally." Mutual friend had a wedding last month. Heard Aaron was discouraged from attending. Bride's sister follows Talia, didn't want heat. Invites revoked silently. Therapist he saw believed him. No toxic traits, just trauma, but refused to write a clearance letter. Liability risk. No one would vouch for him on record. Friend from IT channel posted late, "I was told not to be too friendly with Aaron. They said he was being watched." This entire thing was a performance, and Aaron was the elephant in the room everyone just watched fade. Didn't want drama, just easier that way. 3 months later, he shows up at my door, lost weight, eyes look wrong, says, "I just needed to talk to someone who knew me before." We sit on my couch. He says, "I still don't understand what I did." Says, "If I made her uncomfortable, I'm sorry, but I didn't hurt her." Says, "I didn't even know I was a threat." Voice cracks. He doesn't cry, just folds in. He looked up once, said, "You know what broke me?" I stayed quiet. He said, "It wasn't just her. It was realizing no one stood up. Not you. Not the guys I fixed code for. Not the manager I trained. Not even the janitor I gave rides home." Said, "I kept thinking someone would say, 'He's not like that.'" Voice shook. Said, "But I guess I was easy to replace." Tried to talk to Mel from design about it. Asked, "Do you ever think maybe we go too far?" She looked at me like I kicked a puppy. Said, "Are you saying we should protect predators?" I shut up, nodded, but inside I was screaming. Aaron was the safest person I knew, and I helped burn him anyway. It's weird. I still believe women, but I also believe Aaron. Maybe that's the trap. Maybe we're not supposed to pick sides, but the system always makes you choose. Every time I hesitated, HR filled the silence with policy. Talia filled it with hashtags. I filled it with nothing. Just stood there, quiet, neutral, like that meant anything. Am I a bad feminist if I think this was wrong? Or just a bad friend? Is there even a difference anymore? I make tea. Ask, have you tried therapy? He nods. Says, I just want my kids to know I tried. Says, they're going to grow up hearing what I did from other people. Says, what do I tell them? I have no answer. He thanks me for the tea, leaves quietly. I scroll LinkedIn later. Talia posted again. He was never convicted, but that doesn't mean he was innocent. Comments say, survivors don't owe anyone silence. Someone replies, we believe you. I keep scrolling. Don't click like. Open old group chat. See a pinned message from Aaron. Meeting room B is booked for Friday. Snacks are on me. Scroll up. He used to send memes, playlists, used to make our team feel fun. Now, nobody mentions his name. One night, Mom calls, says, remember that boy you used to work with? The nice one? I pause. She says, he was at the pharmacy, looked so tired, adds, I hope he has someone. I don't reply. Wonder what I'd even say if he did call. Hey, sorry I stayed silent while your life collapsed? Sorry I reposted the post that ruined you? Would he even answer if I reached out now? Do you ever lose someone so quietly that it feels like they're still around, but you're just not allowed to look at them? Like they became a ghost, but the haunting is your own guilt. And you can't block it, can't mute it. Just sit with it and hope it doesn't get louder. Found old recordings of myself I wanted to post on YouTube, was thinking of opening a women-positive YouTube channel. Hear myself saying, we don't talk enough about what women endure at work. Hear my voice, confident, proud, convicted. Hear silence on the other end. Realize that's how Aaron always sounded, but he never interrupted. Start writing a post. Sometimes we destroy good men without knowing it. Delete it. Start again. My friend lost everything because of a rumor. I helped spread it. Delete again. Just sit there. Try to post again. Write, believing women is important, but so is context, so is character, so is memory, so is what we lose when we act too fast. Get 3 lines in, delete again. Not because it's wrong, but because I know what comes next. Quote tweets, screenshots, mutuals calling me a traitor. I don't want to be next. So I stay quiet, the way Aaron did. What would have happened if someone said, I don't think that's who he is. What if I said that? What if we slowed down before building the gallows? Would he still have his job? His kids? His name? I'll never know, because I didn't. Visit his apartment? He's not there. Neighbor says, he moved out 2 weeks ago. Left no forwarding, no goodbye. Drive home, stop by our old office. See the glass door, remember his smile through it, remember how safe he made people feel. Now he's just gone, like he was never there. Open my phone, scroll through my followers, see other women posting. Men are too afraid to connect nowadays. They ghost, they vanish, they're cold. All I can think is, maybe they're just scared, like Aaron was, like I helped make him. I used to say, if he's scared, maybe he has something to hide. Now I think, maybe he was just tired of proving he wasn't dangerous. Maybe silence was safer. Maybe that's what I'd do too. Final post from Talia reads, he never said sorry. That's what hurt the most. And maybe he couldn't. Maybe he did. Maybe we didn't listen. So now I watch as more men get quieter, start keeping distance, smile less, touch nothing, compliment no one, say little, and always look over their shoulder. Used to think the guys were just being weird, but lately, they wait to enter rooms. Last, they CC HR on even friendly emails. They don't laugh at jokes anymore, don't go to happy hour, don't sit next to women at meetings, and honestly, I get it now. We taught them to fear being seen, then got mad when they disappeared, because they don't know which hand on a shoulder, which coffee joke, which second of silence will be the thing that ends them.